Modern society often views the Eightfold Path as a set of religious commandments designed to enforce moral behavior under the threat of cosmic punishment. This historical illusion misrepresents the origin of the system. Siddhartha Gautama viewed himself as a physician rather than a savior. He approached the human condition as a clinical problem requiring a technical solution. He diagnosed humanity with a terminal psychological illness called dukkha. This is the chronic dissatisfaction and suffering caused by the illusion of the isolated ego. The Eightfold Path is the prescription for this diagnosis. It is a rigorously tested treatment plan designed to restructure the brain and liberate the individual from samsara, the self-perpetuating cycle of psychological distress. Unlike the linear staircase of modern self-help, this treatment follows the structure of a dharma wheel. The spokes are interdependent. You cannot finish one step and leave it behind. Every spoke must be engaged simultaneously for the wheel to turn. Approaching suffering as a mechanical, psychological disease gives the individual total clinical agency to cure their own mind. The intervention begins by stabilizing the patient's perception of reality. This pillar is known as wisdom. The patient must realize they are not a stranger fighting the universe. In this view, the isolated, heavily defended ego is a fiction, and the individual is a temporary wave in the ocean. This realization requires an active commitment to step out of the mental fog and drop the heavy weight of craving and hostility. The second pillar, ethics, functions as a method of friction reduction. Right speech, right action, and right livelihood serve to study the patient's biology. Actions like lying, stealing, or harming others trigger the amygdala. This forces the primitive survival brain into a state of high alert, where it constantly scans for threats, guilt, and retaliation. Truthful speech and harmless work prevent cognitive dissonance. This saves the brain from expending the energy required to maintain secondary false realities. Because a mind running on the adrenaline of guilt cannot meditate, the Buddha prescribed ethics to calm the nervous system for surgery. Once the biological friction is removed and the nervous system is calm, the deep psychological surgery of the final pillar, mental discipline, begins. Right effort is the discipline of treating the mind like a garden. You uproot toxic, ruminating weeds the moment they sprout, and deliberately plant seeds of tranquility. Right mindfulness provides mental autonomy. It is the non-judgmental observation of the self, where you watch thoughts like clouds passing in the sky, without becoming the clouds. When the wild, instinctual emotions try to violently stampede, mindfulness acts as the skilled rider, firmly holding the reins. The final surgical tool, right concentration, creates a deep flow state. The mind becomes a tightly focused laser beam. This concentration dissolves the boundaries between the observer and the observed, leading to the collapse of the ego. These surgical tools permanently restructure the invisible architect of the brain, creating a new operational baseline. This clinical path requires stripping away every defense mechanism and toxic habit the patient relies on. When the treatment wheel finally turns, the heavy, suffocating weight of the isolated ego vanishes, providing immediate psychological relief. In this state, the individual no longer reacts blindly to the chaos and hostility of the world. By removing the internal mechanics of suffering, the patient breaks free from the gravitational pull of samsara. This prescription establishes sovereignty of the self. The Eightfold Path serves as the foundational architectural blueprint for the mind. It leaves the patient cured and truly awake.